On 21st March 2018, 44 countries signed an agreement to create the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA. The AfCFTA will bring together all 55 member states of the African Union, covering a market of more than 1.2 billion people and a combined GDP of more than 3.4 trillion US dollars. In terms of numbers of participating countries, the AfCFTA will be the world's largest free trade area since the formation of the World Trade Organization. Estimates from the Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, suggest that the AfCFTA has the potential to boost intra-African trade by 52.3%. Nigeria refused to sign. The president said that he was going to consult further. It emerged that his 11th hour change of mind was due to pressure from trade unions and organized private sector, who said that Nigeria would be exposed to dumping of goods by other African countries. A lot of people, including former President Olusegun Obasanjo, have called the decision not to sign a big mistake. But to what extent is this a mistake? There are good reasons not to sign. Free trade agreements often damage a nation's domestic industries by exposing them to competition from foreign producers with lower costs. For example, critics of the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, argue it damaged US industries because low labor costs in Mexico allowed Mexican manufacturers to undercut American producers. The Economic Policy Institute also argued that by 2010, NAFTA had transferred more than 600,000 American jobs to Mexico. On the other hand, here are the known benefits of regional trade agreements. Number one, regional trade agreements increase economic growth. The U.S. Trade Representative Office estimates that NAFTA increased U.S. economic growth by 0.5% a year. Secondly, it brings in more dynamic business climate. Often, businesses were protected before the agreement. These local industries risked becoming stagnant and non-competitive on the global market. With the protection removed, they have the motivation to become true global competitors. Number three, it also brings about lower government spending. Many governments subsidize local industry segments. After the trade agreement removes subsidies, those funds can be put to better use. The fourth reason would be expertise. Global companies have more expertise than domestic companies to develop local resources. And that is especially true in mining, oil drilling, and manufacturing. When the multinationals partner with local firms to develop the resources, they train them on the best practices. Local companies also receive access to the latest technologies from their multinational partners. However, whether you are pro or against free trade, one point stands out in the way we have handled the AfCFTA issue. Nigeria failed to lead and did it in a way that embarrassed us in front of the whole world. I will try and examine this in light of a broader point, which is the myopia of leadership in Nigeria. The AfCFTA is part of Agenda 2063. Agenda 2063 is a strategic framework for the socio-economic transformation of Africa. It builds on and seeks to accelerate the implementation of past and existing continental initiatives for growth and sustainable development. Agenda 2063 originated from the Lagos Plan of Action, adopted in 1980 in Lagos for a continental free trade area, among other regional development initiatives. In his keynote address, President Paul Kagame made sure to point this out. In essence, on the continental stage, the bumbling, slow, cavalier, and incompetent way Nigeria is run was on full display. Now let's look at it this way. You cannot say that Nigeria did not have notice. The current president was a member of the Supreme Military Council from 1978 to 1979, when the preparatory work for the Lagos Plan of Action was made. In 1980, when it was signed, he was just completing his master's degree in strategic studies at the United States Army War College. One of the 4 meetings of the CFTA technical working groups was held in November 2017 at Abuja. So the question becomes, why did Nigeria withdraw from an agreement? Why did we withdraw from an agreement that was conceived in our backyard 38 years ago and which we actively participated in its development? The only answer I can find is that we simply have failed in the most important area of social development: finding the right leadership. And this is not about Buhari's administration alone. In his excellent book, How Asia Works, Joe Studwell said, and I quote, "Among the different industrial sectors that provide useful comparisons between the developing states, the most fundamental one is steel making. Steel has been an important part of the early industrialization process of all rich states. Steel was critical to the economic development of Britain and United States, Germany and other continental European states, as well as of each of the 3 Northeast Asian success stories. Steel continues to be an essential input into all manufacturing economies. The capability to make steel efficiently has historically signaled that a country will go on to make other things efficiently. A sort of entry-level test for the economic big time. Nigeria established Ajaokuta Steel project in 1979, just a year before the adoption of the Lagos Plan of Action, with the strategic objective of providing a solid foundation for industrialization and manufacturing base of the country. 39 years later, we pulled out of the Continental Free Trade Agreement because we have failed to achieve anything with Ajaokuta. In that 39 years, 20 years have been spent under the rule of Generals Olusegun Obasanjo, Babangida, and Buhari. Yet, our daily news is dominated by their opinions on our future. Can we afford this for another 40 years? What pains me the most is the fact that these people are so comfortable in the way they treat us. They think we are idiots. Governor Ajaokuta, who is facing trial for corruption allegedly carried out while a PDP governor, is busy campaigning for the president's re-election. Now, I am not one of those saying that he is doing it to get a pass on his corruption trials, but people are saying it. In the end, the truth is that we have been taken for a ride and we allowed it. There are 66 political parties in Nigeria. Why are only 2 of them dominating us? Because they are organized. These guys attend meetings round the clock to plan how to hold on to power. They are selling their houses now to prepare for the elections. If it was your father that made that kind of investment, will you not want him to recover it? Of course, he has to make profits. He has to get his money back. Please, get involved politically. Join a political party. Pay your dues. Fight for your voice to be heard. Use your agency. Some of them will give you form for free if you're under 35. Let your voice count. Ajaokuta Party allows members to vote in conventions, so you don't have to be afraid of a godfather. There are others too who may have the same provisions. Whatever you do, don't sit idly by. Let your vote count. Be an agent of social transformation. Thank you. If what I said has resonated with you and you like it, please share it. But if you do not like it, send it to your enemies. Thank you.